Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Brief Nerdity podcast. I will be your host this week. My name is Ryan. Joining me once again is my ever wonderful co host, Trent.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. It's a little bit later than usual, so I'm a little tired, but I'm good. I had a good weekend.
That's my secret. I'm always tired.
I'm I'm always tired. I am actually kind of always tired, but that's a whole other subject. But yeah, I'm stoked. Game of Thrones is back, and there's a whole lot of fun, like video game news coming. I'm excited.
Good. Well, there's lots to be excited about. I'm excited about, for one thing, a fan project that didn't get axed. Not to say for once, because we just literally talked about Installation 01 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But another one that made it through, and that is Mega Maker. It is a Mega Man Maker game that looks very, very, very similar skin-wise to Mario Maker, but it allows you to create your own and share your own Mega Man levels. And as a hardcore Mega Man fan, I am very excited for this.
See, I heard about this from one of the groups that I belong to, but has Capcom actually come out and given them their blessing?
Nope, but they released it on the internet. It's there permanently.
Fair enough. I mean, when you say that, like, you were comparing it to Installation 01, which has Bungie's blessing, so I was wondering, or not Bungie, but Microsoft,
343.
whatever, whoever
Yeah.
owns Halo now, Microsoft people.
Yep. So yeah, that's a good distinction to make. So yeah, Installation 01 has the blessing of Microsoft and 343 Industries. This one does not, but it made it, and they didn't get a cease and desist before they released it, and so it's out there for people to enjoy. Hopefully, Capcom lets it stay there, because Capcom has had a grudge against Mega Man for a long time after the creator left the studio, or I don't know all the drama, but there's some drama between the guy who created Mega Man and Capcom. So
Nice. Well, I hope that it brings people lots of joy.
yeah.
It looks really cool. I saw one of the videos where someone was like putting in like one of the things that has like the fans and the platform, and they go up and down, and you could set like how far their path moves and stuff. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's someone I really enjoyed the hell out of Mario Maker, and I'm still hoping that they release a Switch version. I'd totally buy it again for that. But I didn't really have as much fun making levels as I did just playing more creative people's levels, and basically having infinite good 2D Mario games. So if I could get the same thing and have basically infinite good 2D Mega Man games, then I will be a happy Ryan, that's for sure.
Nice. Very cool. I probably won't play it, but I'm happy that it exists.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being happy at its existence.
You're welcome.
Kind of speaking of the homebrew / modding community, there's a game that both you and I enjoy, Trent, and that game is Just Cause 3, right?
And we might be able to play it together soon.
Yep. Just Cause 2 had an infamous, famous, fun multiplayer mod, and the same people who brought us that mod is releasing on July 21st a Just Cause 3 multiplayer mod.
Now you say we're going to play Infamous in Just Cause 3, is that what I heard?
Yes.
That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
You should be.
It was so good in my head, but I waited too long, and
That's okay.
I apologize.
I do miss Infamous, though. The first two games were so good.
Has there only been two?
Now the third one came out on PS4 as a launch title, or shortly after launch title, and I didn't like it too much.
I'm sorry.
It was very graphically pretty. I just didn't like the new characters and the new powers.
Ah, gotcha.
Like the new character had like a smoke power, but then he could absorb other people's powers. So you got like smoke powers and neon light powers and rock powers. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I want my lightning powers back, please.
Right, like you do.
Yep.
I was actually a really big fan of. There was kind of a like Armageddon Deep Impact moment in video gaming at that time when Infamous and a game called Prototype came out like the same time.
Yeah, I remember Prototype.
And they were super similar, and I loved Prototype.
Infamous is better.
I've heard that, but Prototype came out for the PC, so I played it, and it was really fun. Also had problematic sequels, which killed the franchise. So
yeah,
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, indeed. But Just Cause 3 multiplayer is coming out. It looks fantastic. We are definitely going to have to get together and play the hell out of this.
That sounds really fun. We can go hijack planes and
liberate the people.
Liberate the people. I should not have started with hijack planes because like now I'm on an NSA watch list, but I went there, so I guess
Thanks,
I should
Google.
Thanks, Google. Yeah, so I love that game. It should be really fun to play with lots of people.
Yep. So that wraps up for video game news. Not a whole lot of stuff in the post E3 weeks as far as video game news. Yep. Rest of it is movie and TV show news. So
well, I'll throw one in there that I forgot to put in the notes. I'll catch you up.
Gasp.
But a really fun game called Fortnite is coming out soon by, I think it's Epic. Is that's who makes it, right?
I believe so, yes.
I should know this. But
I don't remember. That game came out like in 2011. I don't know what you're talking about.
It did not. You shut your whore mouth. But yeah, it's coming out July 25th. Or early access begins July 25th. You can get early access by pre-ordering it. There's a bunch of different like bundle options, and it looks like we talked about it before, but it's coming out here soon, and I'm really excited.
Hopefully, I like it. I'm buying it anyways, so
should.
We'll see. I hope I like it too.
Cool. So, on to movies.
Incredibles 2. I freaking loved the first Incredibles movie.
I know. I cannot believe that it took so long to make another one.
And it took them like 14 years to make it, and the second one is going to pick up right where the first one left off. Like almost literally with the mole person coming out of the ground.
That's funny.
So that's how it's going to start. So that does make me a little worried. I mean, just asterisk just a tiny bit, because it's like, oh, we're just kind of move right on to another grand adventure, and that's so like, how can they top the first one? You know, the storyline was just so good and so original and a fresh take on the superhero genre. You know, even back in like 2004 or whenever that came out.
You caught me monologuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, they got the same showrunner back, right?
Yep, Brad Bird.
Yeah,
and so he's a director. It's a movie.
Whatever. You know what? I don't need your sass.
You watch too much TV. You need to watch more movies.
I know, and it's funny because I actually follow a lot of showrunners, and so like that term is just kind of stuck in my head, like Shonda Rhimes and Greg Berlanti and others. So it's just in my head. I apologize.
That's okay. I'll forgive you. But yes, Brad Bird is coming back, returning director.
Returning director. That's right. So, I was kind of hoping it would time jump a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah, me too. I mean, just maybe have.
I was kind of hoping that their son would be like a teenager or something at that point. They'd have like maybe a college age daughter, or like mid-20s. Like,
yeah, me too.
Play a little bit more about like him getting old, like the dad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So yeah, I would have rather have had that too, and so like I said, that's why I have the little asterisks worried there. But you know, The Incredibles was such a fantastic movie, and Brad Bird's such a great director. I mean, not only did he direct The Incredibles, he also directed The Iron Giant. And I never saw it, but he also did Tomorrowland. Don't know how that was, but didn't look that great, so I didn't see it. But yeah, so he has a good repertoire, and I'm glad out of all the Pixar movies that this is what they're making a sequel for. So
nice.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll announce a Cars 4 and 5 here soon.
Well, they already announced 2 more movies in the universe, kind of like planes. I think like one's going to be a boat one. I don't know, but I saw in D23 this weekend that they announced 2 more movies in the Cars universe, but not direct Cars movies. So
are they going to call it boats? Please let them call it boats.
They should.
So happy. I don't know why that makes me so like.
Even if it doesn't have boats, just call it boats. Boats, starring Lightning McQueen.
Boats. He's on a ferry the whole time. No,
yep.
So that's cool. I'm excited. It should be fun. I've been hoping for an Incredibles sequel for forever now. So.
And the whole cast is coming back too, with the exception of the son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was a child actor then, and he's too old now. Everybody else can come back and reprise their voice, but since it takes place like literally right after. They probably need someone new to do his voice. So
that's too bad. I thought he did a good job, but I mean, yeah, puberty's probably happened since then, and I doubt he could hit that same pitch that he used to.
14 years of puberty. Sweet, sweet puberty.
Can I believe it's been that long?
Yeah, I think it's been that long. Let me look it up. Incredibles.
Tap, 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 tap.
2003. So yeah,
Tap, tap.
14 years.
Freaking A. I was still in high school. That's crazy to me.
Yep.
Anyway, speaking of sequels.
Speaking of sequels.
I think you're more excited about this than I am.
Not really.
Really?
Yep.
Like just what we've learned or the sequel in general?
What we've learned, I guess. I mean, I was already... Okay, before we start talking about, let's actually talk about what we're talking about here.
For all of you who don't know what all these pronouns are that we're using and referencing.
So they're making a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph. We've known they've been making a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph for a while. They first announced the title months ago. They announced it called Ralph Breaks the Internet. And as soon as they announced that title, I was like, oh. I mean, yeah. They could have called it Super Wreck-It Ralph, which would have been a better title. But if they wanted to go with the Breaks the Internet route, they could have called it Ralph Wrecks the Internet.
Right?
Like, who writes this stuff, Disney? I mean...
No. Really? Not only who writes it, who in what boardroom is so bored and or disconnected from reality, they're like, yeah, breaks the internet.
A Kim Kardashian fan, I guess,
the internet.
From that one she said, let's break the internet, people. It's just like, no, Ralph breaks the internet. So effing original. So
yeah. I think it reminds me of the sequel, the current working title to that Tom Cruise movie where he keeps coming back to life. Edge of Tomorrow. Is that what it's called? So the sequel is currently called Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat, or something like that. I'm like, that just sounds so terrible.
Yep.
They need to
make a sequel to that too, by the way.
Huh?
They're making a sequel to that too, by the way.
To Edge of Tomorrow?
Yep.
I know, that's what I'm talking about. That's what this is currently. The sequel is currently titled Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you just got the title wrong for the first one. My bad.
No. Because I know that's what they were going to call it. The original was like Live, Die, Repeat.
Yep.
But they literally still, the current working title for the sequel is Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat. And I'm like, that is awful.
I did see a post on Reddit that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, you're good.
I saw a post on Reddit that it pitched just the beginning to that movie, and I loved it. At the beginning of the movie, it starts with Tom Cruise, and he's an old man. He's surrounded by his family, and he dies quietly in his bed. And he wakes up and he's in that battle again. He's like, no!
That sounds phenomenal.
And the movie is him trying to get rid of the curse, so to speak.
That would be funny.
So,
I mean, I'll be honest, I never saw the movie, but I was very tempted by the like Tom Cruise dies repeatedly angle of it.
Kidding aside, it is a phenomenal movie.
Huh. Okay.
It really is. It is very, very good.
Better than Oblivion?
Yes.
Okay.
I liked Oblivion, but it's still way better than Oblivion.
Okay.
I think it's one of the most underrated movies of the past 10 years.
Wow.
Along with Dredd.
Dredd? Really?
Yeah. I love Dredd.
Is it Keith Urban or Carl Urban? I can never get them.
Carl Urban.
I like Carl Urban a lot. Keith is the country star.
Yes, that is correct.
I always get those two mixed up. But no, I don't know. Maybe I'll add it to my list. We'll see.
Did you see Dredd?
No.
Oh, that's so good.
I didn't like the original.
Neither did I, but I love this one.
Okay, I'll add it to my list.
I'll make you when you move here. I'm gonna make you watch all these movies.
Yeah, we'll see.
So back to Wreck-It Ralph. So we got some new information this week at D23 that made me want to see this movie even less. And yeah, so basically they only gave us little snippets again. We'll kind of talk about this a little bit later, but the snippets just didn't sound good. It talked about Ralph and Vanellope going and finding a website called ohmydisney.com, and where Vanellope starts interacting with all the Disney princesses, and then Iron Man is there, and C-3PO is there. And I'm just like, oh no, stop
That
it.
actually, I don't hate it.
No, I just
mainly because like just the idea of like the voice of Sarah Silverman interacting with these other characters really excites me.
yeah, but extremely tame princessy Sarah Silverman.
Well, yeah, true. But I mean, I loved her
It's true.
in Wreck-It Ralph, so I can just be like watching her going around and like being super silly and whatever. I don't know. It sounds kind of Shrek-ish to me.
Exactly.
Which,
in a bad way.
Yeah, like I mean, it's been done.
It feels like it's a boardroom, like you kind of mentioned earlier. Some guy in a boardroom being like, "Ralph Breaks the Internet." It's a boardroom. Like, how could we pitch as many properties as we own into one movie? Let's, instead of having it be video game focused, let's have Ralph go on the internet, not just the internet, a effing Disney website where he meets all of our Disney properties.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would. It would still be more video game focused.
I mean, people already complained that the most of Wreck-It Ralph took place in Sugar Rush, just Candy Crush Mario Kart,
right?
And really explore its universe well enough. And
yeah, because they really showed off like Bowser and all these other characters being a part of it, like in his like villain support group or whatever.
Yeah,
and they totally could have done more with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be a joke about Reddit or 4chan and be like, don't go in there. And, oh, look, we're on Disney's website. Oh, look, there's Iron Man. Hi, Iron Man. And, yeah. So, Ralph is going to do something to break the internet. And then, like, oh, no. All the Disney princesses are in trouble because you're deleting the internet. And, yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay. You've won me over. I'm less excited.
I mean, I may change my mind as more trailers come out because again, we're only getting descriptions of what people saw, but it might be better in person, but it could be totally cringy. But again, just like I feel bad that I feel that there could be much more potential out of this franchise, especially as a video game fan, and the fact that there's statistics to show that I'm making up this number right now, but like 80% of all people are gamers, or game somehow. So why not embrace that audience rather than having Ralph interact with random Disney princesses?
True.
I mean, like here's a snippet of it. Because like Vanellope comes in and like gets the princesses to admire her casual street gear, and then Cinderella says, "Ooh, I'll get my mice on that." And then soon all the princesses are lounging together in short sweats, tank tops, and as Ariel said, "What's that called again? Oh yeah, a shirt." And then before long, the stage manager enters to give them a 5-minute warming for the next performance. It's C-3PO, everyone's favorite golden fuss bucket. Cinderella, obviously irked, turns on him and icy says, "Why, thank you, R2-D2." And then Sleeping Beauty shakes her head, "Stop it. You know he hates to be called that," before calling out cheerfully, "We'll be right there, BB-8. C-3PO shuffles out, muttering to himself, "Such insolence. You're good with princesses, they say. You'll love this job. Oh, for how I long the days of Captain Solo." Right?
Yeah, that's cringeworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yep. So
anyway.
I don't have much confidence in it at this point. It can always change. We were a while away from the November 21st, 2018 release date, and things can change from then as far as, their marketing goes. But as of right now, I'm just like, not for me at the moment. So.
Yeah, I agree. I'll wait to see what some of the trailers show, but at the moment, I'm not terribly excited.
Yep. So there's a lot of stuff that came out of D23 this week. It's kind of dominating our news section here, from Incredibles to Wreck-It Ralph, and now to Star Wars. Yay. Hey, Trent, did you watch that Last Jedi behind-the-scenes video?
Duh.
What'd you think?
Not only was it shared like 5 times in my the first few stories of my Facebook feed that day, but I think you and like 8 other people messaged it to me. It was like, "Hey, have you seen this yet?"
Whatever, I did it first.
You probably did.
And you hadn't seen it yet, so
it's true. But I have now. I mean, I loved it, of course. You get to see all the the cast behind the scenes, and like they're like building sets and stuff, and it looks really cool. And then like what I wasn't expecting was they had this little interview with Carrie Fisher, and I, started crying.
That's kind of a given at this point.
I know, right? It's just like I told myself, it's like if they show her, it's okay. You're gonna be happy that she's in the film, and then she just started talking about how it's all about family, and I'm like, no, grr. Like, twist the knife.
Rey's a Skywalker confirmed. No, not really.
No.
She's a Solo confirmed.
No.
No, not really. Definitely not.
No, it was really touching. The interviews were great. I loved. They seem to really. I'm sure you noticed. They seem to really focus on. This one's different. Like
that's what I was going to talk about most. Is that
Yeah, because obviously one of the biggest criticisms in Episode 7 is that it's too much like Episodes 4 and 6, which is somewhat accurate. I don't think it gets enough credit for how different it is, but you and I have had that argument before, and I don't really want to have it now.
What?
But
you don't want to talk again for 4 more hours about how similar or different 2 Star Wars movies are? Man.
No. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't think any of our fans would care. And I'm worried that you're right, and so I don't really want to argue the losing side.
Well, I don't really think there's a losing side to it. I think the movie is wonderful and fantastic, and the more I rewatch Rogue One and Episode 7, I think Episode 7 clearly to me stands out as the superior movie overall. That being said, I think that Lucasfilm purposefully tried to make it echo the original movie and the original trilogy to kind of basically secure themselves and to get all of us to trust them. Like it was them saying like, look, we know Star Wars. We know what makes Star Wars special. Here is us showing you that we know what makes Star Wars special.
Yeah.
Now that we've gained your trust with these 2 fantastic Star Wars movies, let us do something crazy and our own.
Yeah.
With Episode 8. So I don't think the echoes of Episode 4 it had is a negative point at all to the film.
That's good. I mean, yeah, the only thing that I ever try to push back on that is that it became very bandwagony to crap on Episode 7.
Totally.
Especially when Rogue One came out. And yeah, it's a phenomenal movie. There's still moments I can think of that just thinking about the moments gives me chills.
Mm-hmm. I watched Rogue One again on Saturday. My brother hadn't seen it yet, and he spent the weekend with me, and so
nice.
And I showed it to him for the first time, and even so, like for the first third of the film, I was like, "Oh God, I'm so bored."
Right?
But I had to act impressed because he was seeing it for the first time. He's not a big Star Wars fan. He only recently, a few years ago, saw the original trilogy for the first time, and he didn't really enjoy them. Just for his own reasons, that being kind of old, and different.
Yeah, I can understand
nowadays. But he really enjoyed Episode 7, and so and even I remember when I first saw Rogue One in the theater with my mom, I saw it for the 3rd time for her first time, and she even told me afterwards, she's like, "Yeah, at the beginning, I had no idea what was going on."
Right?
So
don't get me wrong, I love Rogue One, and I think the last third of it really pulls it together in a
definitely
super super satisfying way. But it is really not rewatchable as much as other Star Wars movies are.
Yep. And even just my fatigue of that time period right now, because I obviously read the prequel novel, and then I read the novelization of the movie, and then I read the book that was
kind of like
it was her teenage years, so to speak. So in between the prologue and the main chunk of the movie. And now they have a book out that's about Chirrut and I'm even forgetting their names. What kind of Star Wars fan am I?
Maze.
Yeah.
Baze.
Yeah, Baze. There's a book about them now that I just it's the only book I haven't read yet.
Is it a novel, or I thought they were doing a comic strip for those 2?
No, it's a book. It's a novel.
Huh.
But it's not an audiobook form, which makes it also harder for me.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I might not read it.
So I'm just like, I have to. Must always be up to date on canon. I'm been caught up, and I can't let myself fall behind or let something fall to the wayside.
I know. I wish that I could catch up. It just feels like so daunting right now.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's like I don't care about that era really much anymore, because I mean, as much as the book ended up surprising me and being better than I thought it was going to be, like there really wasn't anything I needed to know that happened while Jin was with Saw Gerrera that we didn't get in the exposition they provided in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I was 16, you left me in a bunker, you were safe. Yep, that's what happened. Thanks for stringing that out into a 12-hour audiobook format for me.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that I feel like. That's the thing that I really feel like, we talked about this before, that the new EU is missing, and the comics have found a way to pull it off somehow. But the novels are nothing but filler and universe building.
Yeah, so far
there is no like really exciting like nuggets of information or twists or turning points, or I mean, the only really good stuff about some of them, like Tarkin, for example, is just that you learn so much of his backstory that it's just overwhelmingly interesting. But it's still
depends on the character, because Tarkin is an interesting character. Right. Interesting to hear his backstory. Jin isn't, in my opinion.
I agree. But it's like, but the comics, I can point out 2 or 3 things that they've done to really affect the Star Wars universe canon in a weird way, but make it really compelling.
You've only scratched the surface.
I know. Trust me.
I mean, you need to finish the original Darth Vader comic, but the new one that's only like have 3 or 4 issues out right now, like, is also so good.
Wow.
Like I want to talk to you about a couple of issues. I think I sent you something like, this might be like slight spoilers, but you really need to know this in Messenger. But I don't think you read it. But
I did not.
Yeah, but just like,
yeah, I mean, like for example, the scene, because we know at some point that Vader finds out that Luke is his son. Like,
that scene.
He knows that by episode 5, but he doesn't seem to know it in episode 4. And so you're like, how does he find this out? And there's a comic that explains this, and it is so good. Like, I can't even explain how good it was. Like, I didn't know a comic could make me feel these feelings.
It was so good.
And like, I was perfectly lucky that I happened to be listening to like I think it was either Luke and Leia's theme or something like that at the same time that I was.
I remember you told me it was a theme that plays when Anakin or Padme are like looking at each other.
Yes.
From the Jedi Temple and their apartment.
Yeah.
In episode 3.
And it was so freaking powerful. And yeah. And none of the books except for Lost Stars have done that for me yet.
Yep. You still need to read a couple more, but
I know. I need to get to Bloodline and Aftermath and some of the bigger ones. But like, the comics seem to be doing this often, and the books haven't done it as much, and it makes me sad. And it's actually the reason why I haven't been reading as many lately.
Well, luckily they took a kind of a break, I guess. There haven't been any for a while. So yeah. I'm not sure when the next one comes out either. So
I think there's a Phasma novel coming out in October.
Oh yeah, the whole journey to the Last Jedi. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, hopefully they have anything to do with the movie this time.
Well, even so, just learning about Phasma will be interesting.
Yeah,
in and of itself, because she's an interesting character so far, and we got so little of her in episode 7 that is something I would like to know about.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that one. I think that's the only one that I know of in the near future. I'm assuming there will be others announced or that have been that I just haven't looked in the last few weeks.
Yeah. But Thrawn was also really good.
I've heard really good things about it. I have all these in my Audible queue. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
Yeah. Gotta listen to those Big Brother podcasts. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You know what? They're entertaining. They're entertaining.
That's okay. You're allowed to love them.
I gotta have my guilty trash TV pleasure.
Yep.
And then podcast to talk about my guilty trash TV pleasure.
Well, the first part of the problem is admitting you have a problem. So there you go.
Hey, I'm nothing if not somewhat self-aware.
Yep.
So anyway, that video was incredible. Well, what did you think about it?
Oh, also loved it. And yeah, the main takeaway was them talking about how different and unique it was, especially when Mark Hamill was like, I'm not going to quote what he says, but he basically like, so that I thought it was like impossible to surprise me at this point.
Yeah.
But they did, so to speak. So I was like, good. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what that means. And I'm excited. I want it to be December right now.
Yeah.
Also because it's like 95 and humid outside every day, which is annoying.
Mass Effect hurt me, but Star Wars will never hurt me, right?
Oh no! Dude, no! What did you do? Why would you put that into the universe? That is
Yeah.
not going to happen. It can't happen.
I like to tempt fate, but
No.
that's okay.
Why? It already happened to Star Trek. It can't happen to Star Wars too.
I'm just bitter because Mass Effect is my favorite thing ever, and now it's been destroyed. So
I know.
So I'm just bitter.
Star Wars is my favorite thing, and I cannot let it happen.
Star Wars is a second for me, so I definitely need it in my life, and
Is Mass Effect still your number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The original Mass Effect trilogy, anyways.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Andromeda damaged the brand, and it is the result. Because of it, I won't have Mass Effect for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And so that makes me very, very angry. But
I have faith in Rian Johnson.
Oh, me too.
Meeting him was one of the really, really cool pleasures of meeting him. I was somewhat close to him. He walked past us when we were asleep, and then we were in a few panels with him. But he just seems so down to earth and so committed. And obviously we've been fooled by people like that in the past, but the one that really worries me is episode 9, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Because Hollywood has had a really, really big problem ending series and trilogies lately.
Mm-hmm.
And books too. Just a lot of people lately just seem to be unable to finish stuff well. The end of Hunger Games was terrible, in my opinion. Some other books that I could name that nobody in this podcast would care about.
Yeah. But, it also is like, what are they going to do? Are they going to end this trilogy? I mean, or are they going to keep, end a single story, but, keep Rey and Finn and whomever's story going? Is it going to feel definitive and ending like the first 2 trilogies? Or are we just going to be like, oh, yeah, we defeated Snoke, but oh no, the space Nazis are here now. So I don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want it to end?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then them go off and do, 3 to 4 years of spin-off movies, and either then start a new trilogy, or I'd be fine with a spin-off movie with Finn or Rey, 5 years after.
Yeah.
4 years after, something like to that effect. I'd be more than happy with that. But I definitely want the story to end and have closure. So we will always have the 3 trilogies, and they could be watched standalone without, any needed outside movies, so to speak.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the only non-trilogy movie we have so far, I consider mandatory watching at this point for people who are, interested in the series.
It's true, but it's going to get to the point where there's going to be 20, 30 Star Wars movies, and you're going to have to pick and choose.
Yikes. Do you think so?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Han Solo has me worried.
Han Solo has me worried, but, Disney and Star Wars can survive a dud or 2 or 5.
That's true. It survived a whole dud trilogy.
Yep.
No offense. There's parts of it I like, but yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, you've convinced me. I'm excited.
Excuse my clicking for a moment. I'm going to see how many total Marvel movies there have been.
Let me see if I can come up with a number without you telling me.
Okay.
Currently out, right? Not upcoming?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on.
While we wait for Trent, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Sorry, I realize this is terrible.
Brought to you by Casper, Nature Box, and Every other podcast sponsor in the world.
I just realized it's terrible downtime that I should not have done.
That's okay.
It was such a good idea in my head. It's like that joke I told earlier. Was it 21?
Not quite.
17.
Close. 16.
What is it? Okay. I was trying to go. It's like there's 3 Iron Mans, there's 3 Captain Americas, there's 2 Thors. I was trying to do all them. There's like 2 Avengers, Spider-Man.
There is Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, The First Avenger, Marvel's The Avengers, Iron Man 3, Thor The Dark World, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Captain America Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Nice.
16. And there are 8 in the pipeline right now.
So that'll bring us to, I can math, 24?
Yep.
Dang.
We got Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
And Venom.
And Venom.
Because
then that's not even, even though that is just strictly Marvel Studios movies, that's not counting freaking X-Men movies, Fantastic Four movies, which there are 3 of now at this point.
Yeah, but 2 of the Fantastic Four movies are terrible, and one of them is okay.
Yeah, that's true.
I honestly don't know how that is still a franchise that has legs.
It doesn't. They just make the movie to keep the rights.
But I feel like there's still buzz for it. You could announce a Fantastic Four movie tomorrow. There would be some buzz.
Yeah.
Because those characters are pretty cool. They have a cool set of powers. They're a unique team. Team movies are fun. Because there's always somebody that you like more than the other people. Because if you don't like Doctor Strange, you're SOL. You're just not gonna like his movie. I don't know. It's weird.
But yeah, so we have 16 Marvel movies right now. By the end of 2018, so it's a little bit more than 10 years. I'm stretching it, but by the end of 2018, we will have had 20. And the 22nd Marvel film will wrap up the story, so to speak, the Thanos story.
Yeah, but they're releasing 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, that's true.
Star Wars only doing 1. For Star Wars to have 20 movies, it's going to be like 2030 something, isn't it, or 2020 something?
Yeah, if they don't speed up.
Don't do that to me.
They very well could. They could just keep the genres very different. That's one thing that has made Marvel successful with the Marvel properties, because Guardians of the Galaxy is extremely different than Captain America: The First Avenger.
It's true.
They feel like entirely different movies and different genres. And so they can get away with it. And so if they do that for Star Wars, they could totally do that too.
I feel like it'd be harder to do that with Star Wars.
It would be. But imagine just doing an Old Republic storyline and a modern storyline. They
would still feel similar unless you... I guess with Han Solo, you could do kind of like a Western-ish, like, buddy, adventure movie.
Yeah.
And then I could picture there being like a horror Star Wars movie you could make. That would be
like the Zombie Stormtroopers one.
Yeah. Or... anyway, I think we've dwelled enough on Star Wars.
But we're not done with Disney. Moving on. Speaking of Marvel, there's also Infinity War footage. So first we're going to talk about a little bit about the footage that was apparently seen, and then we're going to talk about what we feel about said footage and about footage in general. Hope you're ready for this.
I'm ready.
So there's a couple of scenes that have been described. Things like...
Do we want to talk about how we feel about the fact that the footage was shown the way it was first?
I think we talk about that after.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Just keep in mind, we're going to just kind of describe a few moments of the footage that was seen. Though we haven't seen it, we're just kind of going by other accounts. But if you wanted to, wait and see the trailer for the first time, feel free to skip ahead a few minutes. I'll just talk about it for about 2 minutes here probably, and then we'll go on to other things, or at least other topics on the same topic. So, but one of them is Thor literally being hit by the Guardians of the Galaxy ship and getting knocked out, and then Mantis bringing him back to life, and then like wakes up and goes, "Who the hell are you?" to the Guardians of the Galaxy, which seems like a fun scene.
That sounds cool.
Yep. There's stuff with Loki appearing and grabbing the Tesseract and giving it to Thanos. There is a scene of finally seeing Spider-Man's Spidey sense as he gets his spider sense as the spaceship descends onto Earth, which of course has Thanos.
I heard about that one.
Yep. He comes to us, someone says, as some alien ship crash lands on Earth. A worried Mantis stands with Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, and the Hulk at the other heroes as the aircrafts approach.
Interesting.
See, Black Widow is blonde now. Captain America has a beard.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
You can't do these. What? I mean, of course, he's a rogue now. He has to have a beard.
Yep.
Ugh.
Maybe we'll have a montage where he like shaves it and America.
Sorry, that was the Rockies theme song.
That's okay.
Wasn't sure.
There's a moment where Thanos is just grabbing Thor's head like a grape in his hands and talking about how he could just easily smush it.
Okay.
I love this one. You could run from it, growls Thanos, but your destiny still arrives. Then he holds up one hand with the gauntlet on and seemingly destroys a planet far away in the sky. Or if the scene is taking place on Earth, our freaking moon, and heaves the remains of it at our Avengers in a single shot.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, the Hulkbuster armor is back. Spider-Man is in his Avengers costume. The same one we see at the end of Homecoming. Boo!
I don't know why you're upset about it. I think it's awesome.
I just love the OG Spider-Man costume, and I hate when they just... I talked about this last time, but...
Sorry, I'm trying to bait you.
That's okay. Gamora is sitting in the Collector's lair, destroyed, with the ether missing, and she is crying. So, let's see.
Is the ether the purple one?
What?
What's the ether again?
The red one that was like all misty with Natalie Portman.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Don't want to go too much into some of these, but lots of cool shots.
Are we talking about the Vision one?
Go ahead.
So one of the ones that I read about was that you get to see Vision's stone being ripped from his head.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Oops, my bad.
That's fine. It's not early spoiler. I don't consider it.
And then like he's in like just an incredible amount of pain, obviously. So, I mean, you know what's going to happen if he's going to get all the stones.
Yep.
So, it's interesting. One of the things Disney also released was crap, I now forget what they're called. Like the Sinister Squad or something like that. It's like Thanos' group of villains.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me see. The Black Order.
Black Order. I don't know where Sinister Squad came from. I knew
Sinister Squad.
Shut up. You're a meanie head. I could have sworn
the Suicide Squad and the Sinister Six joined.
No, I know that's why it sounded stupid, but like because I knew of those other two things.
That's okay. It's fine.
Anyway,
I'm actually not familiar on the Black Order because it's a more modern take on the Infinity War storyline. It came in the 2013 version of the storyline called just Infinity. It's just called Marvel Infinity. It was a year-long event from 2013 to 2014, and I believe they made their first appearance in that. I'm actually going to read that comic soon because I want to be familiar with them now that we know they're in the movie, because they're not in the original Infinity War storyline, which I'm more familiar with. So
yeah. So one of the interesting things that I saw about them in the announcement, one of the YouTubers that I watched was talking about it. They actually haven't been cast yet.
Interesting.
The voice actors and the people who are representing them, because they're all digital.
Yeah.
So they're all going to be like Hulk-esque in terms of like CGI and motion capture. But they're having stand-ins do the motion capture already, because I mean the movie's in production already.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
I know, right?
Especially since like the Hulk and Thanos have the likeness of their actors still.
Exactly. That was something they brought up. And so people are like, how are you doing, motion capture on people that are going to end up, looking different? It just seems weird because the voices aren't going to match up as well as they normally do.
Yeah, I have confidence that it will. It just sucks for them that, I'm sure for, Mark Ruffalo, it's cool to see like him as the Hulk.
Right? And it's possible that they did say that it's possible that these people have been cast and it's just a held secret for some reason. But I don't know why they would do that. So who knows?
I know Josh Brolin eats up the fact that he's Thanos too. When I've seen like interviews with him, like he's loving it. And so like,
yeah. Well, poor guy has been like teased for so long now. He's like, my movie's finally coming. Because he's been like, what was it, Iron Man 2? No,
the first Avengers movie
is that when he first showed up?
Yeah,
seems so long ago.
But Josh Brolin wasn't cast then. He wasn't cast until Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
It was just all CG.
Either way,
Thanos at that point.
That's the one thing that I am worried about with this movie is that Thanos has been teased for so long that like it needs to be crazy, scary / epic / everything.
Well, since the fact that, all the characters are going to be there, because, we already mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not going to name all of them, but everyone is going to be there. Is there anyone confirmed to not be there? Maybe Ant-Man? I haven't heard about Ant-Man yet.
I think he's there.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm assuming that him and Wasp would probably be there.
Yeah, but and the fact he's freaking reaching up into the sky, destroying celestial bodies and throwing them at the Avengers,
Yeah, it does sound really cool. Because then the flip side is like, how did they fight this guy? Poor Hawkeye.
Well, if it's anything like the comic, it's going to go very, very, very badly for them. So
poor Hawkeye.
Poor Hawkeye.
So incredibly unmatched.
Yep. I'm really glad they kind of joked around with that in the second Avengers.
It's like they're like robots flying around on a floating city, and I have a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie again. I like Avengers too.
Yeah. So, anywho, that's kind of the description footage. It sounds really, really great. Trent, what do you think of the fact that we didn't get to see it yet?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Don't like
it bothers me because, like, the news organizations are running wild with it and telling you all about and giving these descriptions, which means that I'm already knowing what to expect the first time I see the trailer, which means that my expectations have already been spoiled in some way. And so it's like, and now, not only do I have these really crazy moments in my head, I now have a visualized way that they happen in my head that is not going to line up with the way that it is in the trailer.
Nah.
And it's kind of like, that's one of the things that people don't like about going from books to movies is that you have this idea in your head of how it's going to look, and then you see it and it's not what you thought, and then you're like, oh, well, that sucks, but I guess it's okay. So that's
For
one
me,
aspect.
Sometimes it's better though.
It's
to
true.
Finally see something that you imagine in your head, but couldn't quite. I wouldn't say couldn't quite get a grasp of, but when you finally see an event happen on screen, you're just like, whoa.
It's true. It could happen, and so I'm excited for that. I just don't know why you just wouldn't release the trailer.
For me, someone who has gone to San Diego Comic-Con for the past 7 years, it always felt awesome and really special when you could see something that no one else could see yet, so to speak. That's why I always waited in line, camped out overnight, and so on and so forth to get into these panels. Obviously it was great to see the cast and see them joking around or do something like that, but the fact that you got to see something that not everyone else got to see was always great. Like, for example, at San Diego Comic-Con, we got to see that whole scene between Iron Man and Captain America when they're at the farm in Avengers 2 and Captain America's chopping wood. Like, they just showed us that scene of dialogue between them.
That's cool.
And that was, it. And they never released that online, obviously. But, I love the fact they got to see that. And then, obviously, that was heavily teasing Civil War before the movie Civil War was announced. So we're just like, oh, Civil War's coming! And so it just got everybody really, really excited. And everyone obviously went online and talked about it. And there was never a trailer, so to speak, that came with it, and then just people saw that scene in the movie. On kind of the opposite end, well, maybe not quite the opposite, there was a special trailer for Suicide Squad. Not that I liked the movie, I didn't, but there was a special trailer for Suicide Squad that was only supposed to be for Comic-Con audiences, but then people recorded it. It got released online as a cam, and so DC was just like, well, we don't want the movie represented by this cam, and so they just released a trailer online. And then they WB basically flat out said, like, look, if this is going to happen, we're going to stop bringing fun stuff to Comic-Con for you guys. Because I do think it's special in a way to be able to be there and to see something cool. And, because you pay the money for the tickets, you wait in line, and it's nice to get something that just can't be streamed online to watch the panel and then get the trailer and someone else basically get an almost equal experience. And I'm not one to say that watching it online is an equal experience, but it always gives you that something extra special. And so even though I am disappointed I'm not seeing that trailer right now, I know I'm going to see it, or at least see a recut of it at least at some point. And I'm going to be very, very excited because, money shots like Thanos grabbing a planet and throwing it at the Avengers, like, that's going to be in the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I definitely want cons to have unique events in them that are good for the people that are there. I mean, one of the things that I was really frustrated about with the Star Wars conventions that we've been to is that they are live streamed.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of it you can just, and there were days when we were there, we're like, do we really want to go, sleep on a concrete floor all night and then just see something that we could see in our hotel room?
Yeah.
But I think that they managed in some of their panels to balance things like the trailer being broadcast, but also making you feel special for being there. And I think there's an overwhelming level of coolness to be in a room with thousands of people and just all be cheering together when like certain things happen on the screen. Like at the episode 8 trailer panel, for example, or teaser panel, for example, when like the camera panned around the island and it showed Rey training with her lightsaber in the distance, like that place went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that online. And that was cool. And you can't recreate that through streaming. And so like that was worth the price of admission for me.
Definitely.
In addition to being there and actually being in the room to welcome Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and all those other cast members. To me, like, why not? Like, it'll never be as good as being in the room. So why not just give the trailer to everybody else?
Yeah, and I could definitely see your point. Even though I think we're on different sides of this, we both understand why the others feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not even saying keep it from everybody forever, but a nice week or two, I think is nice to give everyone there something unique and special, but still allow everyone else to see it. Because in my opinion, the long run, a week or two isn't going to do much because the movie comes out a year from now. So seeing the trailer a week later, to me, isn't that big of a deal, but it does give the people who are at D23, and Comic-Con is this week, and so it will give everybody at Comic-Con, if there is going to be a Marvel panel, and so maybe they'll show it there too, and then release it online, this Friday or Saturday, whenever the Marvel panel is.
That's true. It's Comic-Con this week.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
Yep.
I usually mark it on my calendar, but just by your posts on it. But you're not going this year.
Yep, it's my first year in 7 years that I'm not going.
That's sad.
Yeah, I just got a little fatigued after 7 years, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Flight and hotels cost like $300 a night there during that week, and
yeah, for sure. I understand.
But yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
So I would expect it at the end of this week.
Yeah. Do you, given what was described, do you feel like it feels like to me like they're really far along in the production of this movie?
No,
Does that come across to you, or do you think these are just like 2 or 3 second things that are still possibly edited
I don't
later?
think they're that far along. Usually for trailers like this, they finish off scenes that are going to be in the trailers. Um, like for example, that teaser for Star Wars Episode 7 that happened over a year before it came out. There was Rey riding around on her speeder and BB-8 running through the desert, and the Millennium Falcon fighting off some TIE fighters, and
There has been an awakening.
yeah. So I'm sure, and obviously this is going to have a lot more than that, but I think it's just them finishing the scenes they need for the trailers earlier than everything else, so they could have it in the trailer and make people go wow when Thanos throws a planet at the Avengers.
That's cool. Oh, hey, speaking of Marvel and things that are cool and about casting and things that I learned recently,
Oh,
do you know who the voice actress is of Karen in Spider-Man Homecoming?
nope.
Do you know who Karen is? You know who I'm referencing?
Yeah.
Okay, for listeners, it's the AI that talks in Spider-Man's new suit. It is the real life wife of the actor who plays Jarvis and the Vision.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that funny? I thought
Yeah,
that
that's
was
fun.
super cool. So anyway, completely random thing. I think it's a different person than Tony uses as his current AI, which I think is named. Crap, I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I don't remember anymore.
I want to say Christmas, but I don't think that's right.
No, I don't think that's right either. That's the name of a Bond girl, and Rule is not enough.
And a current Big Brother contestant.
I've always wanted to have Christmas in Turkey.
I thought Christmas only came once a year. I think that's an actual line from James Bond.
It is. It 100% is.
It's one of the most. It's one of the grown-worthy Pierce Brosnan Bond movies.
I love it. It is. It totally is, but I still love it.
It's good stuff. Okay, so we never did our round robin to start the episode.
We didn't. We totally skipped it.
All right, well, we got to talk about the next two stories, and then we'll do it leading into Game of Thrones. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Hint, hint, it's Game of Thrones related.
Dang it, I gave it away. I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
So, I still haven't seen season 1, but season 2 of Stranger Things is coming in October.
October 27th. The Super Bowl trailer told us Halloween, but now we have an actual date, which is October 27th.
That's exciting.
Which makes me good. Makes me happy because I was totally going to binge this, and so I would have no Halloween plans.
It makes me good. No.
This is going to be I get home from work. Let me see. Is that a work day?
It is a Friday.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get home from work on Friday, and I will not go to bed. I'm going to watch all of them. If it's like 6 or 8 episodes again, if it's like a 10 to 13 episodes even, I won't waste time. But
that's fair. Are you going to take that day off, or are you?
No, I'll work, but as soon as I get home,
okay,
I'll sit back down. Like, okay, here we go. Stranger Things season 2. This is happening.
Maybe I'll come join you.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, so it has an official date. Can't really talk much about it since Trent hasn't seen it.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm excited. The poster looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I am 1 episode away from starting it because I have decided that it is going to be my next show.
Good.
And I am almost done with the Arrowverse.
Well, I look forward to you speaking about it next week because you won't be able to not get through it all by the time we have another podcast.
Nice. I'll take your word for it.
You may watch an episode or 2 and be like, "Oh yeah, that was good," but not like an immediate need to like watch them all. But it will happen fast. You're like, "Oh, yep, okay, I got to finish the rest of these for right now."
Awesome.
So
probably the biggest piece of news that dropped this week, and then it has been all over my Facebook feed and trending on Twitter and on a lot of nerdy news sites.
Not me, because I hide all my Doctor Who fans on my feed.
That's fair.
Just kidding.
The Doctor Who's 13th Doctor has been announced and cast.
It's a girl.
It's a woman. The quote animal. Yeah, it is Jodie Whittaker, who apparently is a well-known TV actor in England, which is to be expected. I forget the name of. I think it's Broadchurch is the name of the show that she's well known for.
Sure.
I was reading about her the other day. She looks great. I don't know what to say. Like people who are fans of the show say that she looks like she's fitting into the role in the way that her outfit and like her demeanor and all that stuff. I mean, we've seen her walk through like some trees at this point.
Yay.
Um, Neither of us really watched the show.
There's been an awakening.
I mean, you don't watch the show, right?
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay. You don't like it?
No.
Really? I've seen the very first episode, the one on Netflix, which I think is Eccleston.
I have a couple fans who are friends, and they've shown me a handful of 5 episodes, which they consider the best episodes of the series. The only one I liked was Blink, the one that everyone says that you have to watch, but it's also one like doesn't have the Doctor in it hardly. It's just like a self-contained story that kind of has the Doctor a little bit in the background, but it's really about these other people. But it is a really, really good standalone story.
Yeah, it's one of those franchises that people just told me over and over again that I should get into. Those who are fans, obviously, but
it's just not my. And it's unfortunately just one of the shows to where the fan base makes me dislike the show a little bit more, just because of how the fan base typically is. And that's unfortunate that when that happens, because as much as I love Firefly, people who are brown coats, I'm getting to the point where they're pretty insufferable at this point. And
it's true.
And even though I love Rick and Morty, I know that Rick and Morty fans can be really annoying a lot too. Yeah. So I'm trying not to be like that. But
speaking of some annoying Doctor Who fans,
good segue.
There are a lot of people who are very upset about the fact that the new Time Lord is a woman.
Hooray!
That the Doctor has regenerated into a woman form. I don't know how it works. I know that he's an alien. He, she, it, they, here is an alien that regenerates when they die. And apparently the gender is not set.
Guess not.
And apparently they've been dropping a lot of hints for this in the recent season, and in seasons past. And apparently there's other Time Lord characters that have swapped gender before now.
So it's been established in canon that it happens.
Right. So I don't understand. I mean, I understand why people are upset, but I think they're unneedingly upset. If I use, I don't.
I'll allow it.
Thanks. I don't understand why people get so tied to the way like a certain character has to be this thing for it to be this character. Like it's literally they died, they've come back. Like this has been established. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm on your side with it. I could kind of understand some of the grievances, not this one in particular, but I could understand the reasoning behind it. Like, I've kind of raised an eyebrow or gone like, when a character of mine, either from a comic book or another property, is being adapted in a way that I don't really like. I'll use Amazing Spider-Man 2, for example. I don't like the way they did Green Goblin in that movie.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't like the way they did Electro in that movie. It wasn't because of the race of the guy who playing Electro or the age of the guy playing Green Goblin, but so I guess I don't know, I have no idea where I'm going with that thought, but basically I don't care. It's been established in the canon that the Doctor can be a woman, and or Time Lord is sexless and can go either way, so to speak, and so the fact that the Doctor is a woman now is great. And if you want, you could judge Jodie Whittaker based on her performance after you've seen her. But
right, and that's the thing. Like to me, that's what's important. Like, does the show have good writing? Does she do a good job as the Doctor? And if the answer is yes, then just enjoy that your show is still on and doing well and is doing something new. Like the thing I get a little bit worried about a lot of fans that are so intractable in their positions and just so resistant to change in any way. Like, and Star Trek fans, I think, are some of the worst in this because like some of the
Which
stuff.
is like the worst irony ever,
I know.
considering
It's
what Star
like
Trek's about.
I know it drives me nuts, but I've never understood like why people get upset about things that don't really make it bad. It just makes it different.
Yeah, back when we didn't know if Daniel Craig was coming back for the next Bond, they had a couple candidates in mind that they kind of talked about. Like Tom Hiddleston, Loki, for example, was one of them, but another one was a black guy.
Yeah,
And
Idris,
we're like, what?
Idris Elba.
Oh, was him? Okay.
I think
People were
so.
like, what? And it's like, okay, who cares? As long as he's British, if he wasn't British, then I'd be upset.
Right.
Because that's, to me, a defining characteristic of James Bond, obviously. If I wanted like an American, I'd go watch Jason Bourne, but not because I don't like Jason Bourne.
Is Daniel Craig British?
I don't know, but he plays a British guy.
He does. That's the thing I thought was funny because I remember there was a joke when I was younger that like the world is turned upside down because like a great rapper is a white guy, Superman is British, James Bond is American, and like the tallest guy in the NBA is Chinese or something like that.
So yeah, Daniel Craig is English.
Oh,
His
okay.
hometown is in Liverpool.
Well, then that joke was wrong, and I should not have told it. But yeah,
That's okay.
But the other example, I mean, Superman is currently being played by a British actor.
Yeah, don't care.
And it doesn't matter to me.
And what I meant is, like, I don't care if a non-British person plays James Bond, but as long as James Bond, the character, is British and works for MI6,
right?
That's what I need in my James Bond films. And so,
exactly,
to me, coming from a not Doctor Who fan, as long as the Doctor embodies the characteristics of the body of the Doctor, just not with the same genitalia, it's fine.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
all you haters out there, suck it.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, representation is important, and I think that it's good for people who haven't always been able to see themselves in the heroes presented on television or movies get an opportunity to do that in their favorite genres. Because I mean, art is inspiring, and so to be able to, relate to the people on screen is important. And it doesn't always have to be, your race, gender, sexuality, etc. But when it is, it's cool because it makes you feel special.
And Jodie Foster's my hero.
Jodie Foster.
Nah, I don't know. I'm just.
It's like that was random.
It was. That was my bad joke of the evening. All right. Well, before we get into Game of Thrones, all the things Game of Thrones, including our news about Game of Thrones, our round robin about Game of Thrones, and our spoiler cast for the first episode of Game of Thrones Season 7, let's talk about what we're playing. Trent, go ahead.
Back into Stellaris again for a little bit. I think I might be done with it again, though. I've been having some fun with it, but some of the combats just kind of leave some stuff to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
Working my way through the Mario Kart 8 tracks again, which is super fun. And I've been getting back into League of Legends again. Some people would say it's because I hate myself. But when you have a group of people that you can play with and then you just turn off the all chat from the other team, there's no toxic community to worry about, and it's just a fun game. So those are what I am playing at the moment. How about you? You have a long list. That's crazy.
I do have a long list because it's all VR. All I did was VR this week.
I've been getting your money's worth out of your Vive.
It's true. So I won't talk about these too much, but I'll go into them a little bit. So in alphabetical order, mostly. I just went through my Steam library and I played that, and I played that, and I played that. I'm not even halfway done with my current library of VR games because there's so many free experiences that that I want to get through first before I start buying like the premium experiences. So
That's cool.
That being said, first is accounting. People recommended this on all sorts of lists online. I was like, okay, great. What is this? Accounting.
That sounds super exciting.
Right? But I might make you play it someday, Trent, so I'm not going to go into spoiling it too much, but it's one of the funniest games I've played in a while. And unbeknownst to me, it's made by one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just like a 20-minute experience. It's free. Download it. You play through it in 20 minutes and you're done. Credits roll, but it's a lot of fun. And it utilizes the VR platform it's on very, very well and pokes fun at itself because of it. So
nice.
It's very, very good. Bellows, it sucked. People pointed it to be like, if you want a demo, again, it was free. If you want a demo of what a horror game would be like, download it. I was scared for about 20 seconds until I realized this is one of those games where you just it's like a haunted house. You walk around and scary stuff happens around you, but nothing touches you. There's no gameplay. It's just walking around and doors slamming behind you, or a guy dragging another guy 10 feet in front of you, from one door to another, and guy's ah! And it's dark and lights are flashing, and I was oh, okay, this is what this is now. Okay, so
it's got the crap out of me, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you weren't bothered by it much.
I don't know. In a scary game, I have to have something coming after me, something trying to kill me. So
gotcha.
It created a good environment. I mean, I say good, a decent environment for a free game, I guess I would say, but it's definitely nothing to write home about. I install it, never going to play it again. Budget Cuts it was just a demo, and no one knows when the game is coming out because the demo came out a year and a half ago, and there's been no word from the developer so far. But people always say to play the demo anyways. It's a fun stealth game. There's these robots walking around in this office setting, and you basically have to teleport around and solve little puzzles to get by the robots, because if they see you, they shoot you and you die. So just kind of a fun, cartoony stealth game. It's a lot of fun. I had way more fun in Google Earth VR than I thought I was, because it's just Google Earth. But man, standing on your street in 3D and looking at your neighborhood is a really, really awesome experience. Don't laugh. It's funny.
You know how else you could stand in your neighborhood and get a really good 3D experience?
Shut up.
I thought you were gonna say it's so cool to go to the Olympic Stadium in Greece or something
Okay, that is cool. I went to downtown Manhattan and
there you go. Go to Times Square. Don't go to. What are you doing going to your neighborhood?
Because it's cool. Because you can also I mean, you can make yourself grow or fly up into the air, and so I'm flying around a 3D.
Okay.
Think of it if you were if you've seen a drone flying around, and the first person view from a drone. It's like that, but in 3D and VR.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I'm sorry, I had to.
It's okay. I set myself up perfectly for it. So I did other cool stuff. I went to Paris and went to Manhattan and stuff like that. And
that sounds cool.
It's really, really, really cool. I spent a lot more time in it than I thought I would. When I'll just boot up and look at my house real fast. But I was ooh, let me fly over here. Let me fly over here, and and then
that'd be cool. I imagine I'd probably go to London and look around downtown London. I think that'd be really cool.
And the interface and controls are really intuitive and well done. So just make it feel like you're flying around the planet, so to speak. So it's very cool in VR.
That's pretty sweet.
The lab is accounting is probably my number one, but the lab probably is actually. The lab is just the Valve made free, basically not trial, but just kind of a showcase, so to speak, of tons of VR experiences. I've played everything in it now. Before I'd only played the Portal and the bow and arrow game, but there's 4 or 5 little mini games in there, all of them which are great. Just leave it to Valve to create fun, super funny little experiences, whether or not they have to do with their properties or not, but it is great. Lightblade VR, gonna try to go through these fast. It's just a homebrew game, so made for $3 that basically lets you play around with lightsabers and play with those training drones like Luke has.
That's cool.
And so I spent a lot more time in there than I care to admit, just swinging lightsabers around and writing my name on the ground with the lightsaber burning into the ground.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah. Rec Room is also a fantastic experience. Most people say it's like the best free experience right now because it is an online social VR experience. You go into a virtual rec room and there are other people walking around on their own VR headsets, talking to each other, making fun of each other. My brother, when he came over this weekend, he played it, and like he saw a basketball on the floor and he picked it up and he went over to a hoop to shoot it, and then like another player just like teleported in front of him and went nope and slapped it out of his hand. It was pretty funny. But not only that, there's tons of fun games and activities to do. There's you could do frisbee golf, paddleball, dodgeball. I'm blanking on it, but paintball. There's like a quest one where you can walk around with your friends with swords and shields and fight off goblins and stuff. There's a sci-fi shooter one that's like it's a first-person shooter you can play with your buddies, and you actually have to reload your gun and hide behind cover and stuff. It's really fun. Highly recommended.
That sounds cool.
The Spider-Man Homecoming VR experience, literally just a 7-minute experience where you're Spider-Man. You could shoot some web and swing around, and then Vulture comes out and taunts you and then destroys this crane, and you kind of have to, kind of like Spider-Man does in the trailers for Spider-Man Homecoming, to be spoiler free, kind of trying to sew that boat back together.
Oh yeah.
You got to put together a crane that's been destroyed. Got to quickly like patch it up with your web shooters. Again, just 7 minutes long, but just kind of a advertising marketing for Spider-Man Homecoming, but still fun. I was Spider-Man for 7 minutes, so that's cool. About the Blue, I didn't really like it, but I feel it'd be a good thing to show off for non-gamers if something in VR, because it's just to stand there and you're at the bottom of the ocean, and it has 3 different basically encounters that you could do. It's all like pretty beautiful stuff.
Nope.
All right. It's
sorry. I have a fear of the ocean.
That's okay. You get to see the pretty coral and pretty jellyfish and whales and stingrays just all like swimming around. It's cool. It's pretty, but not interactive at all. So, if I have family members who are non-gamers come over, I'll be like, hey, check this out. And then, they'll be like, ooh, cool.
I wonder if something like that could actually help me with my fear of the ocean.
Yeah, next time you come over, then
fascinating.
Give that a shot
to think about.
Trials on Tatooine. It's an official Star Wars one. The graphics were pretty bad on it, basically because I think it was also made for like Google Cardboard and stuff.
Ah, gotcha.
So it kind of took me out of the experience, but it was fine. I guess it was cool to see R2-D2 running around, and you do get a lightsaber at the end to kill some stormtroopers with. So that's cool. Spoilers, not really spoilers. It's again just a little like 5 to 10 minute little experience thing. And then Project Cars, it's a racing game, has a VR experience. Man, I did not enjoy that whatsoever. It doesn't have any like touch controls. You have to use like an Xbox controller. But the VR is used like sitting in the car, and so you're driving around in a car in first person mode, and you can look around with your head, but you're still like driving a car, so you move left and right. But the graphics aren't as good because it's in VR, and you have that screen door effect by having the screen being like 2 inches in front of you. So it's not quite as good of a resolution as playing it in 1440p or 1080p. So it's just not really. It was cool to be like, oh look, I'm looking around the inside of my car. Okay, it's not really viable to competitively race against people like this, but
gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all the VR experiences I tried.
That's
clocked 10 hours of VR this past week.
Wow.
So
that's a lot.
Like you said, already getting my money's worth and enjoying the hell out of it. And I haven't even, the Blue costs money, and Lightblade VR costs money, but like I haven't really gotten into the meat of buying games and like trying real games out, so to speak. Like the Rick and Morty VR game, and I really want to play Super Hot in VR because I love Super Hot just playing it normally, and that is a game that I think would be perfect for VR, and it is in VR, so I definitely want to try it as well.
So speaking of the cost and stuff, this is kind of a side note thing. Did you see that Oculus is supposedly going to release a $200 Oculus Rift either
I didn't.
this year or next year?
I saw they dropped the price of theirs with the bundle with the touch controllers to $400, which I think is a phenomenal deal.
Yeah, they're saying it's going to be a self-contained $200 headset shipping in 2018, according to Bloomberg. So I'm hoping that if they're able to pull it off and that it's successful, that we could see the Vive drop to like, $400 or $500 type thing.
Yeah.
So here's to hoping.
Yeah. So again, I ate my words and poo-pooing on VR. I still don't think it's the future of gaming, and I don't think like people are really going to want to play Skyrim like long term in it when it comes out.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's made for that kind of experience, unless they design the games in a different way to revolve around it, so to speak. But I still think it's really, really fun. And like,
I'll admit I watched the Fallout. There's one of Bethesda's thing at E3 was their VR stuff for Fallout and Skyrim, and like looking down and pulling your hand up to like look at the Pip-Boy. That was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's actually something that happens in Rec Room. If you just look at your hand like a watch, like a basically projected menu appears like on your wrist. That's a little bit bigger than a Pip-Boy, but then you literally you tap on the buttons like, hey, I want to teleport over to paintball right now. That's or cool. Invite my friends to my room, so to speak. So
that's neat.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I don't remember. So that's enough of that, apparently.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So let's get to what we've been watching.
I haven't watched nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple episodes of like Bob's Burgers while I was eating, but it's not really a show worth talking about. Just an animated comedy. It's funny. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. So there's that.
Nice. For me, Big Brother 19 is in full swing, and it's still a really fun, exciting season. I am one episode away from being finished with the Arrowverse, and I watched the finales out of order based on what I was most excited to see. I'd been fully in order up until that point, and even though I've been enjoying Supergirl, I really don't care to watch the finale right away.
So the Supergirl finale is the only one you have left?
Correct.
All right. Are we okay with going full spoilers here so we could talk about some of these? I mean, it has been a few months, so
go for it.
Skip ahead a few minutes if you don't want the end of the CW verse this season spoiled. So let's start with Supergirl. So how about that Superman fight?
Well, I haven't seen the finale yet.
Oh yeah, wait, did Superman appear at the second to last episode?
Yes, he appears at the very end.
Okay, dang it. Okay.
I know that they're gonna fight because it's all over. Like,
can I just tell you a grievance I have? I mean, I've told it to you before, but I just want to be specific.
That she's gonna beat him, and they're gonna be really impressed. And
yeah, she beats him. He snaps out of it a little bit later, and then he's just like, wow, Supergirl, you're so powerful, you're so strong. She's like, oh well, the whatever that was, making you bad, it probably hindered your abilities. No, Supergirl, I was going full power. I was trying to kill you with all my strength, and you still beat me. It's like, oh God, stop it.
All right, well, I'll let you know next week how I feel about that.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't make a minor spoiler something for you, but I was just like, oh, okay.
No, you're good.
This show.
So I still don't like Arrow.
What? You didn't think his planning to plant bombs in every square inch of that island? So if Arrow kills him, then it'll make the bombs go off and he'll kill all his friends, which he had them all kidnapped on the island, and knew that this guy would betray. Yeah, just like ugh. People loved that finale. Like the internet went crazy with how good that finale was.
I don't understand.
Like it wasn't bad. I don't think it was terrible, and
no.
I think Arrow definitely stepped it up this season overall. But I was really tired of that villain. 2/3 of the way through the seaon.
Yeah, I liked it better than Damien Dark's season, which is funny because I like Damien Dark a lot.
Yeah,
but his season was not strong. I yeah, his I'm 40 steps ahead of you. You don't even know what game we're playing. It got really old really fast.
Yep. And they did it for the whole last 8 episodes of the season.
And it's like, he expects me to do this, so we should do the opposite. But he counted for that too, because he knew you were going to think to do what you weren't going to do normally in this. It's so annoying. And also, when did he have the time to plant all those bombs all over that freaking island? That island is huge.
Yep. Nope. Hundreds, if not thousands of bombs. He just planted them and
networked them all together
to his heart. So, if he dies, then they all blow up. And then he dies, and then they all blow up. So bad. And I want to call out, maybe it's because I'm not a dad, but why is Oliver so freaking obsessed with that kid?
I mean, yeah, I'm protective. I'm super protective of my nieces and nephews, so I can only imagine that, if I found out that I had a child and that I was a superhero also, I would probably also be very protective.
Maybe I'm just a cold son of a bitch, but he was just a sperm donor in that case.
It's true. Well, but he didn't it wasn't his choice necessarily, and he also there's a line that he talks about how he's the purest part of me. I think a lot of because most of the season is Oliver trying to figure out am I a crazy person who likes murdering people and just happen to also want to be a superhero so that I can scratch that itch? Or, is he actually a superhero? And emphasis on hero. I thought it was kind of cool in that, obviously Oliver sees this kid as his, redemption. And so that's part of the reason why, and also his son is, not corrupted by his lifestyle, basically.
Yeah, but it seemed like he's putting, several people after the kid in terms of, importance of saving.
True.
Which I was like, really? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cold hard bastard in that case. But.
Maybe. But yeah, I liked Slade's return, which I thought was going to be really stupid.
Yeah, he's always welcome.
But I actually thought that was really good. Manu Bennett did a really good job. I love it. She's like, yeah, kid, I'm not crazy anymore. And it was just really believable. And I was like, okay. Okay, and then he lets out the other guy. I was like, wait, why are we letting out the boomerang guy? You were never friends with him. What is this about? And it's like, he knew that I would turn on you. Anyway.
He knew everything.
He knew everything.
What about Flash?
Okay, I liked it a lot more than you did. I'm pretty positive. It's actually, so right now it's my number 2 out of the 4. There's, I don't know. The final fight was cool. I like what they did with Caitlyn a lot, because I didn't see them going that way with it. I think they were just going to cure her completely. And so I like that she, gained her humanity back and still has her powers. I would personally think they should have done that to begin with, because they never explained why her cold powers make her crazy.
And that's the thing that just pissed me off about Caitlyn this whole season.
Yeah.
Just all of Caitlyn's story this season just made me mad. So at this point, I didn't care what happened to her. She could die, she could be cured, she could walk off into the sunset. I didn't care.
Right. I didn't like I was pleasantly surprised by the bait and switch from HR.
I thought it was a cop-out.
It totally was.
And it sacrificed a character whom I really, 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 really wanted to die, with probably the only character I liked in the show to die. So I was like, awesome. Thanks, show.
Yeah. But and that actually made it really emotional.
It's true. I just really hate Iris.
I know you do. I don't hate her nearly as much as you do. And I do love HR. So seeing him die was super sad. And the performance of I forget her name, the Speed Force lady.
Yeah.
when she saw him, like, really, really well done. It was very emotional. Yeah. Oh, speaking of emotional stuff, there was one scene in Supergirl that just completely blew me away and caught me off guard, and it's
It's a good
when,
scene.
huh?
Oh, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's when Supergirl and Alex are saying goodbye to each other, and Supergirl's going up to the ship, and Alex is going to go fire the cannon, and she's like, I know you're fast, but you've got to be faster than me, and she's like really emotional.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she's like, I need you to, make sure you get out of there before I have to pull the trigger. And it was just really, really a lot more powerful than I was expecting it to be. I think Alex's actress did just an incredible job with that scene.
Yeah.
So I wanted to shout out to that real quick. And then just the final thing about Flash, I didn't like uh, the whole like there has to be a prisoner in the Speed Force thing.
Yeah.
It's like just undo it because you guys did it, so undo it. Like,
No, because they got to set up another famous Flash storyline, just like they did for Flashpoint last season, but didn't end up doing anything with it.
right? Is this the Wally West becoming the Flash storyline, or
No, not quite. Well, not yet. He is going to be only temporarily, but that's not the storyline they're going for. It's a storyline in which Barry is in the Speed Force in his view, like for hundreds of years, and then but comes out and it's only been like a few months, and so he has to like adjust to real life again, being literally hundreds of years old at that point. That's what I believe they're alluding to, because that's what happens in the comic when he gets trapped in the Speed Force as a prisoner. So
interesting.
um,
So wasn't a fan of that. But overall, it was fine. I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be done with it.
at least we have Game of Thrones now.
True. Let's get into that.
So, yeah, we're going to talk some Game of Thrones spoilers. But first, before we go into spoilers, let's talk about a couple of things. First off, the premiere crashed HBO's website.
That's pretty funny.
And it broke records for viewership.
I'm not surprised.
All around.
I am now officially a subscriber of HBO Now.
Me too.
Before I was borrowing other people's HBO Go logins. And it was my sister. She doesn't use it, so. But now I'm like, you know what? I should pay for it myself.
I'm an adult.
So I've got the first free month going. I was actually really surprised because it was the night of the premiere, and I'm downloading the app, and I'm like, this is not going to work. It's going to crash. I'm not going to be able to get it to work. But I logged on, signed up real quick. It was cool. I was surprised to find out that HBO now does not have a browser player.
Yeah, it does.
It directed me to the app. It wouldn't let me play anything on their website.
You must have done it wrong, because I watched it on the browser.
Your face. I Chromecasted it to my TV, which is what I normally do, so it was fine either way. But
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it was. We need to talk about the episode here soon, because
I also got a subscription, but I paid for it with my Google Play credit that I got from doing the reward surveys.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't use that money for really anything else. It's only buy Super Mario Run, though. Eventually.
It's a lot of surveys.
Yeah.
I should get back into doing that. When I got my new phone, I haven't reinstalled it yet.
That's just easy. Just, survey pops up, you answer 2 to 5 questions, and then it's like, here's 40 cents.
Yeah.
It happens every couple of days. It adds up.
It's true. I did it on my last phone. I just keep forgetting to do on this one.
Yeah. Should we do the round robin or just save it for another week? I say we save it for another week.
I'm okay doing it now.
Okay, let's do it now. So round robin. Trent, you go first then.
Crap.
Who should sit the Iron Throne?
Now, like, who do I like the most, or who do I think would do the best job?
Who should sit the Iron Throne?
Who should sit?
Who should sit on the Iron Throne? And
On. Okay. She's like, who should sit the Iron Throne? I'm like, where?
That can be interpreted however you want.
I know. I mean, of the three like biggest contenders right now, I'm rooting for Daenerys. But the person that I think would do the best job and actually cares the most about the country in general is the guy whose name now I cannot remember. Not Littlefinger, but the other spy.
Varys?
Varys. I think he should be the king.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, bam. Back to you.
I'm going to have to go with Podrick because he knows how to treat the brothel ladies. So,
well, I was switching to Gendry because by this point, with all the rowing, his arms have got to be incredible.
No, it's just Podrick's obviously a very generous.
Are you serious?
Person. No, I'm not.
Oh. You had me going for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, who?
Jon Snow for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like Jon Snow.
Really?
And I'm getting sick of his actor too.
Oh, that's sad.
He's such a whiny little bitch. I'm sorry.
I thought he was, but he's not anymore.
Yeah, he is still.
Yeah.
People are really mad because they like. There are paparazzi and news people who scout out the airports that they know that the actors use to like see who is going to which locations and then like spoiling potential storylines based on that information. And Kit like threw a fit and was like, well, there's a bunch of mean people who are spoiling things. I forget the word that he used, like losers or something like that. And I was like, dude, like it's Hollywood. Like you're one of the most popular shows of all time. This shit's just gonna happen.
Yeah. I liked Harry Potter's Daniel. What's his name?
Craig?
No. Harry Potter.
Radcliffe.
I liked his thing for paparazzi.
I was just doing the James Bond joke. But
callback. Where he wore the same outfit like every day for months after he left like the studio or whatever. So when paparazzi would take pictures of him, they couldn't use them because it looked like it was just like the same pictures over and over and over again for months. Because he just wore the same outfit when he'd walk out. So that's the best. That's a good way to do it. But no, awesome. I think Jon Snow has that Stark honor, which I think the throne desperately needs. Not to go into much spoilers for the episode before we start the spoiler cast, but his speech in reaction to the sons should not inherit the sins of their fathers, I think is a good thing to stand on for your campaign.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll go to it since you obviously disagree, and we'll talk about him in the episode spoiler.
I mean, cast. I don't like hate him, but he's not. I just don't think he's a very interesting character right now.
Okay, that's fine.
I liked him better as the head of the Night's Watch.
Well, I think Dany's gonna go crazy and kill everybody. So,
you know what? I think she is too, and I'm okay with it. As long as she takes out the Nightwalkers, the Nightwalkers too.
The Nightwalkers.
Is that what they're called?
The White Walkers.
God, I'm tired. It's freaking 2 a.m. All right, and my brain has been off for like 3 hours now.
Must be if you're insulting Jon Snow.
So I'm gonna go hang out with the Sinister Squad and the Nightwalkers, and we're gonna have a grand old time. And you're not invited.
All right, that's fine. I'll get some sleep. You guys have fun. All right, well, let's talk about spoilers. So right now we're starting full spoilers for season 7, episode 1 of Game of Thrones. So let's talk about that cold open.
Oh my god.
So a lot of emotions went through my head. So first off,
oh god.
Immediately I was like, okay, well, like we know Frey is dead. So in my head I'm like, either this is a flashback,
right,
or that's Arya,
right.
And so my mind first went to flashback because they've started, I think, last season with the flashback as well. So I was like, okay. they're starting with the flashback here as well. Especially I thought, well, anyways, but since you watched it on HBO now, you probably saw like the previously on.
Yes.
And they showed like the red wedding happening, and they showed Catelyn's throat being slit.
Yes.
Kind of during that moment. And so, careful, I'm going into spoilers for the books here. But do you know what happens to Catelyn after that?
Yes.
Okay. I won't go into much detail more than that for those who haven't read the books and still want to. But I thought, oh, are they bringing in that for, there? Because Walder / Arya mentions like, oh, I know we just had a feast yesterday, but here's another one. So I'm like, oh, they are dumping her body in the river, kind of to foreshadow that. But then when it was kind of established that, oh no, this is modern times. Oh, okay, that is Arya. So had a flash of emotion thinking that Catelyn's future was coming.
Yeah,
but it's still a great scene.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, and I love the job that the actor did in portraying like the little nuances of difference between the normal Walder Frey and then like the little tiny hints that they gave that he's not really himself.
Yep,
that was cool.
He did a really good job.
Yeah. So, all the Freys are dead.
Yep. May they burn in hell.
And I loved the speech, like, if you leave one wolf alive, the sheep are not safe.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, kill them all.
When people ask you what happened here, tell them the North remembers. Tell them winter came for House Frey.
Oh, that was my status update for the rest of the night on Facebook.
Nice.
Was the North remembers, because I was like, oh, it was such a good like fan service moment.
Mm-hmm.
For both like Arya fans and people who've been pissed since the Red Wedding.
Yep.
Of which I am both. So I thought it was really cool. Like, not only did she kill them, but she like basically like read them and made them feel like shit right before they died. They're like, oh, you should all be so proud that you invited people under the safety of your roof and then like murdered a woman and then like a pregnant woman.
Yep.
And I was like, oh crap. Oh, it was great.
Then let's move on to the Jon Snow scene. I was getting pretty mad at Sansa. Luckily, they made up there at the end.
I sided with Sansa on that one.
You thought that they should just be punished for the sins of their fathers?
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, disagreement.
I think you should reward the people that were loyal to you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like it's medieval times. Like if your father is a lord and is treasonous, like I don't know. I don't know if you should automatically inherit. I mean, it was still a good scene, and I don't disagree with his choice, but I understood where Sansa was coming from.
Oh yeah, I could get behind that, and I definitely don't like her like contradicting Jon, because the last thing we need is another king power struggle.
Well, that's the thing that like I'm still a little bit upset that she's not, Queen of the North right now, because as far as anyone knows, like she is actually a legitimate Stark.
Yeah.
And he's not.
And that's true as far as blood goes, but I think as far as the leader of the North needs, that Jon is it, and that's why they call to him and not her.
But he's actually a terrible leader, at least in terms of military prowess. Like, she's the reason they won the battle.
Littlefinger is. But she gives herself credit for that.
No, but he wouldn't have come if she hadn't gone. Like, they were going to go without them.
Yeah. I think that she gives herself too much credit, and maybe the audience does too. But Sansa is still.
I disagree.
Like, I don't know. I don't see her as a player in this game. She is beaten and broken and strong, but I don't. The writers haven't convinced me that she's capable yet of being a player in the game.
So where would you want her to go from here? Like just fade into the background as one of his advisors, or?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just know I don't want sibling drama and like, I want to be king, queen, and he's like, but I'm the king. And, and then half the houses go to her and half of the houses go to him and they all fight. And then the White Walkers come and kill everybody. I mean, just save that stuff for CW. Like, that's behind us now at this point. Let's focus on the real threat,
That was low. I mean, she has a legitimate reason to be upset, especially with what she's been through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really think Jon is a capable leader.
I definitely don't want them to fight and to divide the North. Like, that's stupid. But I think that he needs to actually listen to her a little bit more.
Oh yeah, like when you said make her one of the advisors, that sounds really bad. But I'm definitely okay with them co-ruling, but just him being the face, so to speak.
Yeah. Cool. So does it go from that to Bran's scene then?
I think Bran's scene was technically first.
His 15-second scene.
Yeah. I don't know if much is worth talking about.
Sitting there on the sled. I mean, Bran has made it past the wall again. He's back at crap. What's the name of that citadel?
Castle Black.
Castle Black. He's at Castle Black now.
I have expected the wall to come crumbling down as soon as he entered it.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
It's been a kind of a theory, just because of that mark he has that people thought it was a magic thing that was gonna cause the magic that was protecting the wall to be negated and cause the wall to fall.
Which mark?
When the king touched him in that vision, and it gave him that icy blue mark on his.
Oh yeah.
Which allowed the Night King to enter and kill Hodor.
Oh, poor Hodor.
So either way, I think that caused a magic barrier that was surrounding the wall to come down and allow the Night King to come through now. I just expected the wall to crumble. Especially because there's a line that Jon gives to, what's his name, the new Lord Commander. He's like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but something along the lines of don't break the wall, or, don't knock it down while you're in charge. Something like that. Huh. I'm like, oh, it's totally coming down while he's in charge. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. So.
Let's move on to Sansa's scene with Jaime. He had some sass to him.
Wait, Cersei?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, first, before we leave Sansa, you have to admit her line to Littlefinger.
Oh yeah,
was like gold. I was dead.
Good thing Winter's here. He needs something to treat that burn.
I know, right? Oh man, she's like, don't worry about claiming the last word, Lord Baelish. I'll assume it was something clever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah, it's one of Sansa's good few moments, and that's probably why I'm just so against Sansa. I've just never really liked her character.
That's fair.
The whole show's just been like, oh, I want pretty dresses. I'm so sad. I don't get to marry a prince, and she was like that for so long.
Yeah, but I think
even when she was like a prisoner to the Boltons, she was, still just like a victim and had to not do anything but wait for others to help her.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like the only thing she's done is like, hey, Baelish, sure, bring your people. Now I need to be in charge. It's just like, no.
Couldn't just let me have a good moment with her. You had to go shit all over it.
As you know, I'm right.
I disagree.
It's okay. That was a great moment. I love when Peter Baelish gets what's coming to him, and the fact
I think that we value different strengths differently, and I think that she has managed to survive some really hellish things.
And that is true. I
I
just don't think that makes her a capable leader.
mm, it doesn't not make her. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where she goes. I think she's incredibly strong, and I respect that.
She is incredibly strong, just not a good leader. Or it hasn't shown to be a good leader. She hasn't shown to be a bad one either. But
Exactly. So, all right, we'll see. So, moving on, Cersei and Jaime. So I saw a funny meme that I posted right before I watched the premiere, and it's her in her like bombing the Sept like outfit,
mm-hmm.
and she's like, "I'm here to love my children and blow up shit, and I'm all out of children." And so it's just like it's such an interesting thing. Like, what is she doing now that she doesn't have her kids to focus on?
Well, they gave a really good point that she is not in a good position at
Oh
all
yeah,
in this
no,
war. So it's something
definitely.
I didn't really think about until they pointed out. And when she's like, "I am the ruler of 7 kingdoms," Jamie's like, "Well, 3 at best."
Yeah, that was a good line. Oh man, I loved that one.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, 3 at best. But then she gives her really good line from that they used in the trailer, like enemies to the west, enemies to the south, enemies to the east, and enemies to the north, which I thought was really cool. And they do line out the 4 different. I didn't realize that there were, you know, that many people against her.
Well,
In
at
that,
this point, it's really only 2 big groups. You got Daenerys teaming up with Dorne and the Tyrells, and then you have all the North once again unified.
yeah, but they said that. So if I'm remembering right, east is Dragonstone, right, and the Narrow Sea.
Yeah, which is Daenerys.
Is she teaming up with the Dorne
Yep,
people? When did
yep.
they? Did I miss that?
Yeah, they established that in the finale.
Huh.
Um,
Okay.
when
Just
Grandma Tyrell went to Dorne and talked
uh,
about it there, and then Varys was there.
right. Okay. Man, I should have rewatched the season.
Yeah, so it's
Um.
basically only 3 groups. The
So does
North,
so
then
Cersei
Dany's big group, and Cersei.
so Cersei doesn't even know that, does she?
She probably does at this point.
Well, because they were talking about whether the Tyrells would back them or not.
No, yeah, maybe. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming that the people to the west that she talks about is like Littlefinger's new house, right?
I think the Tyrells are to the west. Dragonstone's to the east. Tyrells are to the west. Doran's to the south.
Right. And where's the place with the moon door?
That's north, but
Oh,
not but south of the Twins, I believe. I have to get my map.
yeah, I know. I've actually never looked at a full map and like
Oh yeah,
found everywhere.
I used to look at it a lot while I was reading the books to kind of establish, where things were.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, that's still like north of them, but not like in the north, so to speak.
Gotcha. Yeah. Um.
So yeah, like I said, it's basically only 3 players at this point.
Yeah.
Cersei, the Crown, and the Lannisters, all as one, and then Daenerys, Dorne, Tyrells. I guess I would throw the Greyjoys in with the Lannisters at this point, and then the North. Well, I guess 4, including the White Walkers. So,
Yeah. Yeah. There's them. It's an interesting situation.
and she's definitely not in a good place. She has no allies except, kind of the Greyjoys. And speaking of which, what gift do you think he's going to bring her?
I don't know. People have been talking about that online. I just assumed that he meant like the head of Tyrion or something like that. But apparently, there's people are theorizing all this other stuff.
I'm a fan of the Gendry theory.
Really?
Yep,
That's interesting.
because it's bad storytelling to leave a thread like that just dangling with no resolution. So it seems like to
Right?
me that they're wrapping up the story, that they need to cap that out. I mean, it reminds me kind of like they just needed to kill Rickon. So they just made him a prisoner and killed him in the second to last episode last season, because they needed just another Stark dead, and to make it so, the only main characters we have are the only main Starks left. And as of right now, like, he does have the most legitimate claim to the throne.
It's true.
As he is Robert Baratheon's real blood, and every other Baratheon's dead.
It's true.
So for Euron to bring him in, and that would gain a lot of favor with Cersei and just wrap up that storyline without something, because we know they're going to team up, right? Like, it kind of has to happen.
Yeah.
So to do something to Tyrion, I think, is just not going to happen. Or bring the head of Dany, that's not going to happen either. So I think to meet the requirements that he's given, a gift to make Cersei happy and to make their unholy alliance a thing, I think that's the best bet right now, in my opinion.
It's a good theory. It makes sense that also, like, Arya is traveling towards the capital, and so the two of them could meet up again, which is cool.
Yeah.
I would love for her to show up and, like, instead of killing Cersei, she rescues Gendry and they escape to the north together, or something like that.
We can only hope.
Poor Gendry. I don't want them to bring him back just to kill him. Like,
they totally are.
That is so that is so lame. Yeah, I'm mad. I've been madder since he rode away and didn't come back, which was like 2012, for crying out loud. Like,
yep, season 3.
Stupid. Anyway, what's next?
Let's talk about the Hound and his scenes.
I don't know what to think about him right now, because he's never been my favorite character in the first place.
He's one of my favorites.
I was kind of hoping that he was dead after his fight with
Brienne,
and I don't know. Like, I like that he is showing growth. I like that he doesn't like these religious people. But at the same time, like, they can do things that he can't explain, and so, like, he has to figure out what that means.
Was it just me, or were you waiting for him to be like, nah, I'm just messing with you, I only see some logs burning?
I was waiting too, but then he got really super specific about the castle that John already mentioned.
Yep.
It's very smart of the Night King to go around the wall, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucks for everyone else, but
yeah, I mean, like I said, magic barrier's down, so you could just walk around. So, I mean, in my opinion,
yeah,
don't know yet, but
well, I mean, the way they describe it, it's like where the wall meets the sea. There's a castle there that you can go through. So I'm assuming
more details in the books, but yeah,
right. He's still got to defeat the castle, but apparently it's unmanned. But that's where they're sending the red-headed wildling to.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to hold that, right?
No. I mean, not if the whole army of the dead is attacking, then no.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we didn't talk about this scene, but where it showed, like, the army of the dead marching.
Yep.
Really cool and, like, freaky and ominous and all this stuff. But it was also really sad when they showed the giants marching. I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the giant.
Well, it wasn't 1-1 though. 1-1 died dead. Yeah.
But I mean, I was still just sad that they had giants with them, because, like, the giants are cool.
Yeah. That's gonna be a bad to fight later.
Yeah. So yeah, what was after that?
What did you think of the poop and soup montage?
Oh my god, I hated it. I was eating. I was eating during that scene. I had just finished making myself some ramen, and it was beef ramen.
That is amazing.
I'm like, I was like, whatever. So I just, like, set my bowl on the table, just on my nightstand. I was just like, all right, when is this scene gonna end? Is it over yet?
No. It was gross as hell.
So gross.
I still loved it. It was so well done and funny.
Yeah, I mean, it conveyed its message very well.
Yep.
And, like, freaking poor guy. Like, he goes there thinking that he's gonna, like, learn and become this, like, wise maester guy, and he's probably would rather be back at Castle Black.
Poop and soup.
What'd you think?
I thought it was really funny, but I enjoyed his story. I thought Sam hasn't really gotten anything good in a while.
Yeah.
He got some good scenes. What did you think about Slughorn telling him he couldn't access the restricted section of the library?
Wait, was it actually
same actor?
Is
Same
that,
actor.
I knew he looked familiar. Yeah, it felt very Harry Potter-esque to me.
I got a good laugh at that.
Even without the actor, but like the whole restricted section thing, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, so the guy went through all this explanation of why he believes him, and like in this super logical way, like, well, you must be telling the truth because that makes the most sense, blah blah blah. And then he just goes on this thing about like how like every winter before was fine, and like every time people think it's the end of the world, it's not the end of the world. And I was like, that's not logical, because just because crises have been averted in the past does not mean that this is not like the crisis to end all crises.
I don't know whether to call it pessimistic or optimistic, but I mean, I don't agree with him, but I see his point, It's like, oh, well, the world's going to end, but, everyone thought the world was going to end here, 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 and here. And so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a logical fallacy that just because everything's worked out till now means it will always work out.
Yeah, we're talking fantasy medieval times people's logic, though.
But he's supposed to be really smart and super logical. Yeah, it's like, and even if like you think the world's gonna be fine, but you believe the whole like White Walker Army of the Dead thing. I mean, wouldn't you still want the Night Watch to know everything possible just in case?
And maybe he does in some way, but he doesn't want to supersede protocol, so to speak.
Ugh.
I don't know.
Try this on.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I thought it was weird that the guy just leaves his keys laying out in the open next to his bed.
Freaking Sam's a noob at picking them up too. Like, oh, I'm just gonna like freaking grab them and drag them off the table. No, you gotta be careful. You gotta like pick them up carefully, put your hand underneath it to make no noise. No, just freaking snatch them off the table.
I don't know if the only one that noticed. Like, he grabs it by the ring, so the keys like dangle and clink against each other. And it's like, have you stolen anything? Like, ever? Like,
knowing Sam, probably not.
You gotta like you said, grab them all at the same time so it doesn't make any freaking noise. But anyway, he goes in and gets the book and then finds out that there is a mountain of dragon glass at Dragonstone.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Is that new for the show? I kind of get my cross mixed because that's been known in the books for a while.
I don't like. I'm trying to remember. Like, somebody said that they had it mentioned to them.
Like, I know Stannis says it. I just don't remember if he says it in the show or the books.
He had to have said it in the show because Sam brings it up that Stannis told him about it.
Okay.
Unless it was like an off-scene conversation, which I don't think it was.
Yeah.
But
that's what sucks when you read the books and see a show. You're like, I don't know which is which or what happened in which. Especially since I saw the show first and then read the books. So like I pictured all the characters as they look in the show.
Yeah. So like when it says there's a mountain of dragon glass underground, what does that mean?
Just a mine, so to speak, of that mineral. That dragon glass, obsidian.
Right. That's what it is. It's obsidian, right?
Yeah.
And that's primarily from like lava rock?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So does that mean Dragonstone's on a volcano?
Maybe.
That's fascinating.
Maybe it was a volcano at some point.
Huh. Anyway, I gotta talk about that in a second. But so yeah, that's interesting stuff. I'm guessing I kept like, he's like, John has to know, and he like starts writing a note, and I'm like, oh god, something's gonna happen, and the word's not gonna get to John.
That's what I thought too.
Because that's just like the mentality that I'm in for this show. But then it just changes scenes, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I guess that Raven's gonna go through just fine.
Except for scumbag Jorah Mormont trying to grab him.
That was so funny. Freaking douchebag Jorah.
Oh, I have this incurable disease that is through touch. But only like nearly grab this innocent person here at the Citadel.
They sent him there to get cured, right?
Yeah,
Is it just not working?
maybe they have people working on it, but they like, no, you stay in here while we do some research, see if we can figure it out. That's what I kind of imagine it being right now.
But didn't like shouldn't they already know how to do it? Because what's his name? Stannis' daughter was cured, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, not cured, but halted and not contagious anymore.
Huh. Weird.
So
Anyway, are we to my favorite scene yet?
the final scene,
Yes.
sure, go for it.
Is there anything else you want to
No,
talk about?
no, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It's between this one and the opening scene that are my for my favorite scene of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I was overwhelmed by just how good a scene it was and how much they conveyed with no dialogue
Yeah.
until the very end. And there's little things like the way that Tyrion looked at her when she was scooping the sand into her hand, and like the way that her bodyguard like tried to go with her to the throne, but her like number 2 lady held him back.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good, and she did such a good job like just expressing like what it meant for her to come home. And like, I mean, this is something that we've been waiting for 6 years.
Yep.
And like, she's finally back in Westeros, and it was so good. I loved it. What do you think?
Same thing.
Oh, and
Totally
that
loved
castle. I want to live at that castle.
it. One thing I want to note is that the entire time, I was like, oh no, the episode's about the end. The episode's about the end. No, don't end. Don't end. No, it ended.
So you get getting distracted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was obviously taking it in, but
Yeah.
I when a show like that I really, really love, when I know and I feel it's like, oh, it's been about an hour. Crap, it's gonna end. I don't want it to end. No, and then it ends. You see the credits, you're like, dang it.
I loved her channeling her inner Khan from Benedict Cumberbatch from "Shall We Begin."
Yep.
I thought that was a good line. And it was cool because like it reminded me of all the scenes from when like Stannis and the Red Lady and everything were in that castle, but it's like abandoned, and so it's like kind of like winterified and creepy looking and stuff. But it's like everything's there that she would need. I thought it was really cool.
It was a good scene.
It's a very good scene.
Well, let's go ahead and go ahead.
Go ahead. We're done.
I'm calling it. So
It's a good idea. We are over 2 hours.
Yeah.
We need to stop.
We're bad at this podcasting thing, apparently.
We're bad at the brief part anyway.
Joke's on them. It means underwear.
Ha! I don't own any briefs.
I'm a boxer brief guy myself, so.
Anywho.
All right. Take us out, Trent.
Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of the Brief and Nerdy Podcast. We appreciate you sticking with us through this longer than usual-ish episode. And reach out to us on social media. We've got our Facebook, Twitter, email, website. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If there's anything that you wish that we would be doing that we aren't, or if there's any topics that we haven't addressed that you want us to discuss, please let us know. And we will see you for another new episode next week.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.